Good morning, dear students. In previous class, we will discuss physiological factor determine speed and strength. Today we discuss physiological factor determine endurance. Endurance is a significant component of physical fitness. Some factors are there for physiological determining endurance. The first one is aerobic capacity. Aerobic capacity is the measure of the ability of the heart and lungs to get oxygen to the muscles. An example of aerobic capacity is body's ability to take in and use oxygen to improve aerobic performance. Two, aerobic capacity depends on the some following factors. The, the more thing is the performance and activity continuously. Energy is required by the muscles which can be supplied by the presence of oxygen. The ability of the organism to maintain adequate supply of oxygen to the working muscles for energy liberation is important for endurance performance. The aerobic capacity depends on some following factors. These are the first one is oxygen intake. The amount of oxygen which the lungs can take in from the atmosphere is called oxygen intake. The higher the amount of oxygen intake, the higher the VO2 max, which is the maximum rate of O2 consumption during incremental exercise or the maximum volume of O2 that can be used by the athlete. It is also known as maximal O2 consumption, peak O2 uptake, or maximal aerobic capacity. VO2 max is men in generally 40 to 60 higher than in women. The next one is oxygen transport. The amount of oxygen taken into the blood from lungs has to be transferred to the working muscles. The oxygen transport depends on the amount of oxygen which the blood has absorbed from the lungs and the ability of the circular system to carry this quickly to the working muscles. The amount of oxygen absorbed into the blood depends on the speed of blood flow through the lungs and on the blood hemoglobin. The contraction of blood hemoglobin, which is about 14 to 15% in sports person, cannot be enhanced by training. The transportation of oxygenated blood depends on the capacity of the heart. This capacity can be improved through training. There is an increase in aerobic capacity. The next one is oxygen uptake. In the amount of oxygen which can be abstracted can be and consumed by the working muscles from the blood is called oxygen uptake. The oxygen uptake depends on the rate of diffusion, which is further determined by the speed of blood flow, temperature, and partial pressure of oxygen in the blood and of carbon dioxide in the muscle cell. The speed and amount of oxygen consumption also depends on the number, size, and metabolic capacity of the mitochondria. And for opportunity, this can be improved to a creative extent through training. Next one, energy reverse. Aerobic capacity is also shaped by the level of glycogen in muscles and the liver. To sustain an activity, there should be enough glycogen in the muscles and liver. Muscles glycogen store provided an immediate source of the energy, and liver glycogen in convert into glucose by the organ and related into the bloodstream to maintain sugar level in blood. Fatigue is the result of insufficient muscle glycogen store. Fat are also used as energy source in remarkable long-term activity, and they are present in an excessively. The next one is lactic acid. This component is this factor is determine endurance. This is an efficient predictor of endurance capacity. It is the ability to tolerance accumulation of lactic acid. The ability to tolerate higher contraction of lactic acid is a significant factor in determining anaerobic capacity. The lactic acid tolerance is important for activity that lasts for about 40 seconds or more. The lactic acid tolerance capacity can be improved through training, so it can be helped in improving endurance performance. The third one is movement economy. The, the economical movements are significant for endurance performance. A runner who can run at a given pace with less energy expenditure can continue with the same speed for longer duration. A good technique is endurance sports can save energy. For example, in swimming, 20 to 30% of the energy can be saved in the movement are correct. For economic in movements, good runners set their center of gravity less high so that unnecessary movements are reduced. The last one is muscles composition. There are two basic types of muscle fiber, such as slow twist fiber and fast twist fiber. The slow twist fiber are best used for aerobic capacity. For endurance activity, the produce small level of force for long period of time, and that is why they are better suited for endurance activity. In fact, the elite marathon have been reported to have greater than 90% slow twist fiber in their leg muscles. The percentage of these slow twist fibers are regulated generally. Next, physiological factor determine flexibility. The range of movement possible a joint or the flexibility depends upon a number of factors. There are some of the factors which are not trainable, but some factors are trainable to an extent. The first one is muscle strength. Flexibility depends on the level of strength. Weak muscles can become a limiting factor for achieving higher range of movement. Muscle strength is highly trainable, therefore, it can enhance flexibility. Joint structure. There are several different types of joint in human body. Some of the joints instinctively have a greater range of motion. Example, the ball and socket joint of the shoulder has the greatest range of motion. There are various types of joints in human body. Some of the joints instantly have a greater range of motion than others. Third one, age and gender. It is a well-known fact that flexibility decreases with the advancement of age. However, human body is trainable. Flexibility can be enhanced with the help of training. As strength, the endurance are enhanced. Gender also determines flexibility. Females tend to be more flexible than males. Then, stretchability of muscles. The stretchability of the muscles is also a factor in limiting the range of movements. For making any movement at a joint, the muscles must contract to execute the movement. If muscles are not regular stretched, they tend to get shorter and finally restrict the range of movements possible at a joint. The stretch ability of muscles is trainable to a creation extent. Therefore, it can be said that stretchability of muscles can determine the flexibility to some degree. Number 5, internal environmental. Internal environmental of the athlete influence the flexibility. For example, 10 minutes in a warm bath increase body temperature and flexibility, whereas 10 minutes staying outside in 10 degrees Celsius reduce body temperature and flexibility. The last one is previous injury. Injury to connectivity tissue and muscles can lead to thickening or fibrosis on the affected area. Fiber tissues are less elastic and can lead to limb shortening and ultimately lead to reduced flexibility. These are the factors determine flexibility. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.